Welcome to A Game of Ice and Fire, a video series devoted to a Song of Ice and Fire wargame by Cool Mini or Not. We cover all aspects of the hobby with tactics and list build videos, painting tutorials of varying levels, and battle reports. There's nothing too fancy about this neutral list. I'm just putting some selections on the table to see how it runs. And we have a typical Sworn Brother list with a few Rangers peppered in there just to see how they function on the table as well. One thing before we get started, it wouldn't be a Big Top Gaming battle report if we didn't get something wrong. We ended up playing the objectives inappropriately in relation to which side you deploy on when you own one. So we were playing if you own the left objective, you deploy on the left flank. That is not correct. It is the other way around. You own the left objective, you deploy on the right flank. Otherwise, I think we got everything else right, so enjoy the game. Sweet.
Oh, it worked.
Alright, so we're playing on Clash of Kings, I think is the name of the scenario. So I've got my cutthroats deployed on the top of the screen, and the Dreadfort captain that's in there is the acting commander since Roose Bolton's leading the army, and then my flayed men are down at the bottom. So first turn I just throw Roose Bolton down, or Varys was thrown down on the tactics position so I could draw cards and put a panic token on the, I think they're Sworn Brothers in the bottom. So Tyler, what do you got down there?
So on the bottom left, because we can only deploy in the corners, I got Jon Snow with Sworn Brothers on the left. And then on the right, I have my Ranger Trackers, the Cav unit.
Okay, so in this one, when we were putting down terrain, I ended up dropping the two corpse piles in the middle here. Just it made sense with the way this list is supposed to run. I've got 3 units of cutthroats and a unit of flayed men with some bastards girls with brawn in them, so I wanted to make sure that I had the corpse piles to just make my life a little bit easier with the panic checks. And I just put down Roose on the maneuver position to get the flayed men to come up a little bit more, because I want to make sure that I can try and get onto that other objective a little bit more quickly, since that palisade's in my way. And then we go... Oh, what the hell did I do here? Yeah, we put Roose down. I didn't double activate them on accident, did I? Did you do anything?
I thought I took the free maneuver, but I might be wrong.
Yeah, you know what? I think you did take the maneuver because your Sworn Swords moved up. I just wasn't paying attention. So that was the regular activation for the flayed men, and you had put down Craster or Aemon on.
So my Ranger Trackers move up and take that far right objective.
Yeah, those objectives, I tell you, the middle objectives have been such a problem for me lately. I've been doing the Dance with Dragons, and now I'm playing Clash of Kings, which is probably my least favorite of the playable scenarios when you exclude Storm of Swords. It's just it seems to you're definitely favored by claiming those objectives early, and being able to claim them on turn 1 kind of feels like, or just get on them kind of feels weird in my opinion. Like I don't know, maybe it's not a problem. I'm just being a little bit of a negative Nancy when it comes to middle objectives. But it looks like Roose went on the crown position and zapped the Rangers, and I think we ended up putting like a wound on them or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just Clash of Kings is strange with the weird deployment that goes on with it. You've got the 2 corners you start on with 2 units, and then you bring units on as the game goes by. So it's just a strange scenario. I think Dance with Dragons is better if you're gonna try and play the 3 objectives in the middle. I really like a balanced scenario though. it's just with the Clash of Kings, it's just constantly bringing back units that are getting meat grinded. It just feels weird.
Yep. So I take the left objective 2 with Jon Snow. And then...
Yeah, it looks like we're... you discarded something, and we're moving on to turn 2. Now, I believe I had the top of the turn, or top of turn on turn 1, so now this is your activation first. So we'll see what ends up happening. What do you feel like you've got to... I mean, like, it's weird with Night's Watch. I think with these, like, camp where you sit on objectives, it's really easy for you to play these things out because you just sit there and heal. Like, did you have any other ideas or thoughts when you were approaching this game?
My thoughts were my usual, just get to the objective and wait for you to come to me.
Yeah.
But you have cavalry and flayed men, and those guys are awfully scary.
Yeah, I know. It's playing the Boltons right now. At least it's really tempting to try and take more than one unit of flayed men because they are so good. But it's really hard to like get the list to work for me, in my opinion, with the way that happen. Because then I think you're left where you've got to like, don't take the bastards girls at all, and then you've got to find a way to make the points up somewhere else. So you're probably bringing like anywhere between 3 and 4 units, and I just don't know if combined with the tactics deck that you can get that much work out of the 2 units. So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just I don't know how the 2 flayed man unit or 2 flayed men will work. I know that I've seen the four flayed men armies come around, but I just feel like with all the sundering and stuff that it's kind of hard to really play that.
I don't know. If I saw that, I would probably look at the army, look at the opponent, and be like, nope.
I'd play into it at least. I mean, like the thing that there's nothing more fun than playing into someone's like asshole list and just tearing it apart and just being like, I guess it sucks to not know what you're doing other than bringing 4 good units. But speaking of good units, my flayed men end up maneuvering to get just barely into the flank on the sworn swords that are with Jon Snow. So I missed 2, but I think I explode one of them. So I end up getting, I explode 2 of those. So it's just like I had rolled 8 hits anyways. So they'll be -1, which is no good for Jon Snow.
No, 4 up goes to 5 up.
And then this was the -4 panic test that came down on them.
-1 for the corpse, -1 for the flank.
Yep.
-2 because you're flayed men and they're just bastards.
And it didn't matter because you box carded anyways, so it was like the first panic check of the game. And flayed men have the thing where if you fail a panic check while you're engaged with them, I get to put another panic token, or if you fail a panic test, I get to put one out. Not that it mattered so much because there's only 2 units on the table right now anyways, but it's just another, like, the whole list's purpose, other than just throwing 8 dice with every unit I have, is to make these panic checks happen or try to get these panic tokens out. So it looks like your rangers are shooting into my cutthroats.
Yep. I thought if you're going to charge me, I at least want to activate first.
Yep. And I end up cranking my tray a little bit because some of my snow overhangs the slots on the base a little bit, so they got shook up a bit. And now we're going down on the combat zone so that I can get double duty out of the flayed men. And we end up hitting with all of the attacks but 1, but we get 2 more crit blows out of it, so that's another 9 saves coming at you.
Yeah, not a fun time.
And it looks like you failed like 6 of those saves or something like that, and then you failed your panic test by, you rolled a 7, you're -4, so it goes down to a 3, so you failed it by 3, and that plus the wounds that you took ended up wiping the unit and allowing me to get on that objective.
Yeah.
Oh, and it looks like we have the camera position stupid, so if you look down on the lower left-hand side of the screen, there's a little base sticking out, and that's Ghost.
So I lost Jon Snow. which hurts. And that scored you a points. And then I tried to deploy on the flank because, well, I just lost that objective, and then you reminded me that I couldn't, so.
Yeah, your activation. Well, no, you were able to deploy Ghost on. Oh, never mind. What you were just doing then.
Yeah, the Sworn Swords.
Yeah. It looks like somebody came down. I might have put Roos down on the.
Oh, that's right.
Money.
I did deploy Ghost on the far flank.
Yeah, like I said, Ghost's base is hanging out right there. Ghost was fine. It was the unit that after that couldn't come on. But I did just put Roos Bolton down on the money zone or coin so I could get that unit back up and take the vulnerable token off them that the Rangers put down. And then you brought on your Sworn Brothers. But now it looks like I'm charging in with that Cutthroat unit, so they're fully functional. They were already, but at least they've got all their boxes or whatever. All their...
So I played a tactic card. When a friendly unit is attacked, I get to make a free maneuver.
Yep, so Ghost got a little bit closer, just kind of creeping up on me.
Yep.
And it looks like I hit with 6 of those, and you play another tactics card, is it? Is this no, this isn't the one where you block hits.
No, I didn't draw that one yet.
Gotcha. So you pass 1 and lose 4 wounds on that. So the panic test, you end up taking that -3, so you lose another 1. So it must have been 5 wounds that you took, so it's 6 total. So 2 horses go down. That's pretty nasty. And again, there's no other unit for me to put the stupid condition token on, because that's just the way this scenario works. Now, when I had positioned the flayed men on that lower objective, I don't think I was completely thinking about trying to face them differently, since they have a maneuver they can use at the beginning of their turn anyways. So I got pretty loose with them here, but I don't think it matters so much on this one. It looks like you put Amon down on the... or Craster went down on the tactics position. And I'm bringing a unit of Cutthroats. This is the vanilla unit of Cutthroats on. So I almost wonder if, like, the pace of this game gets slowed down in the early part of it because you have to deploy all your units like this.
Yeah, slightly.
It just seems like there's... the early parts of this game are really about setting up a turn 2. But since you have to wait to put your units on turn 2, and then they won't be able to get into position to do anything till turn 3, they're not really getting busy until turn 4. I mean, other than using all the activations. I think that's just another... It's not a reason that I had consciously thought of when I was first saying I didn't like the scenario, but I think it's just another reason why I really don't appreciate the slow roll in some of these war games. I like to get in the mix real fast, and having all my units on the table right away helps with that.
So I did deploy a unit of Sworn Swords on your left, on my right.
Oh yeah, up at the very top left of the screen on my side, it looks like holding that objective down, you're putting some Sworn Brothers to scare off or scare my my Cutthroats a bit. The nice thing about that, though, is that Cutthroats only have a 5+ save, so if you come into me, I'm not going to get any worse than a 6, so getting the rear doesn't really bother me all that much. The panic test does, but whatever there. So a little like you've taken both the maneuver position and the tactics position so far on the NCU board, and I ended up taking the Roos is still down from the healing that happened real early. So now we start scoring. I think I go up 1, which puts me at 2 right now from killing John's unit, and then Tyler, you go up to 1 by holding that objective with the Ranger trackers.
Yeah, the one on the right.
Yep. So now we're moving on to turn 3, and this one comes back to me on the top, and I really would like to try and get Ghost gone, because it just feels like low-hanging points for me. But I instead activate the Flayed Men because I figure what I can do is, if I get the Flayed Men further away from Ghost, it makes it so that Ghost has a much harder time trying to get to me. So even though Ghost was probably the best to go for, I think it's better for me to try and get the most out of the Flayed Men and threaten the NCU activations for Tyler, because then that way, if you don't claim the sword zone on turn 2 or on your next activation, then I do, and I just keep swinging with them.
Yeah.
So they get 2 activations, which is really nice.
I'm not a fan of Flayed Men. They hurt.
I think it's more so that they just go so far that they hurt you really early. And the 2+ save is nice, but when you're sundering and getting the side stuff. So you played that card again where when you get attacked, you get another unit gets to move, and then you end up barely passing, like really at the point passing that morale check, so you only lose 4 guys to that. So you do the smart thing with Ghost.
Yep. Sneaky, sneaky.
Yep, park a dog on an objective, and that's where he shall live. So now my bottom unit is having a more difficult time trying to get into into Ghost, but I really did have to do something with those Flayed Men first, because they were either going to give up like a rear charge or a side charge if Tyler would have gotten maneuvers right away. So I don't know. In hindsight, maybe it would have been better to take the dog, because you'd have to do something. I don't know. I think that I still made the right move, but it's up for debate. So now we're just...
I'm okay with you making that decision.
Yeah, I didn't think it was terrible. The Cutthroats are going into those Rangers again. I really just want to try and carve them off that objective, and I needed to do this also before those other Sworn Swords activated, because they will... Or Sworn Brothers activated, because they will get into the back of me and start tearing them down. So I was just trying to see if I could get lucky, and you pass your morale test with a stupid 11. You're not making the gist of my list any easier.
Well, you are playing Boltons. So
I know.
Just remember to shower tonight. I need a shower just from playing against you.
Hey, I don't know. The Boltons, like, I think, yeah, it feels a little nasty to play them, because they are kind of like the ultra douche of the universe, at least. But the list is really...
They're down there, yeah.
The list is really strange to play. I think that the neutral faction in general is going to have a really interesting time as the game progresses, because that tactics deck doesn't change at all. And it looks like just as we were playing, the Rangers attacked and just took 1 Cutthroat off the table. And I'm coming down on the combat zone again, and I think we were using the Flayed Men to go into the Sworn Brothers. At least that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, because you had thought I had rolled on the Rangers.
Yeah.
But it was the Sworn Brothers. So you only lose 2 of them on that one. But you fail your morale check by a ton. So you're just -2 from the Vicious, so you only fail it by 4, I guess. So I guess that feels like a ton for a Night's Watch army. So you've got Amon coming down on the coin. And this is my first tick on Varys to try and stop it, because I don't want that work on those Flayed Men to be for nothing. And I roll a 1 or 2, so they get to do everything they want to. What is that, 5 wounds for that unit?
6.
Ugh. So the Flayed Men basically lost a whole activation out of that.
Oh, and a condition marker removed, but I don't think I had a condition.
Well, no, the panic... you did, because the Flayed Men, when they when someone they're engaged with fails a panic test, they get to put another panic token on another unit within long range. And I think I bounced it over to the Sworn Brothers that were next to them, but then didn't even put it out with the... like, I forgot to put it out, but then remembered it was there. So then we just took it off that unit anyways. And then I think for me, it looked like Roos got put down on the... maneuver position to get the Bastards girls up a little bit to just set them up for next turn. I think their goal is going to be to try and get Ghost.
So now my on-foot Rangers march up and claim the third objective.
Yeah, and that middle objective is a real pain in the butt. You get 2 extra points for it. So anything you put there, I absolutely need to start trying to take off. So what I'm doing here is like going through the mental process of, do I go after Ghost because you're on an objective and it'll get me another point, or do I go after the Ranger trackers because they've got a not so great save and I'll be able to throw a bunch of dice at them. So at this point, I thought that the Bastards girls only had short range, but then before the activation was done, I realized they had long range. So I do end up picking Ghost to shoot at, and you've got I think 2 saves.
And I succeed in 1, fail 1.
No, you fail 1, so I do get to use my order that'll let me charge you for free. So now I'm just lining it up so I don't hit the stupid palisade. And I don't need to really long bomb it, but I do need to get a 2 at least, and I do roll a 2 exactly. So I charge in, and now I'm hitting Ghost on the side or on the flank because you had, or was it the? Yeah, it was the flank. It wasn't the rear. So I think we throw 4 saves into you. 5 saves was it at -1, and you pass
5 saves, and I pass every one.
Single one. So this was a super bummer. And that means that Ghost takes the panic test and passes it immediately.
Because he passed, I get to play my tactics.
Yep.
And then get some guys back.
So now you've got almost that full unit. So 2 activations out of the Flayed Men, and now you've ticked that unit almost up to full. So Flayed Men are only as scary as what they're going into.
They're scary.
I know. Now it looks like the Sworn Brothers are getting that top screen unit of cutthroats that are engaged with the Ranger hunters or trackers. I can never remember which one's which. I think the trackers are on horses.
I forgot. One's trackers, one's hunters. One's on horses.
Yeah. I think the trackers are on horses. And then the hunters are on foot.
Trackers are on horses, hunters are on foot.
So the cutthroats are looking for 6s. I think they fail all of those, so I pull out 6 bodies. They also they have a panic test at -1. Yeah, it looks like they might have lost 7. Because I was full from healing them last turn. And they fail their panic test by a good amount because of the back charge in the corpse pile. So I did play the tactics card that lets me re-roll a panic test because I didn't have the right what is it? The right tactics position to auto pass it, which would have been nice because I wouldn't have lost the whole stupid unit.
I believe you rolled a 4,
a 4,
2, and a 2,
and then a 4 again.
And then you rolled it again, a 2 and a 2.
Yep, it was a bummer. So that unit goes down, and Tyler's up to 2 points now.
Should be higher.
Well, we're only on turn 3, so I've only lost 1 unit so far. So it's 2-2.
Well, I scored 1 for end of turn 2, right?
Yep. Okay. And we haven't
and
finished
then I
turn
destroyed
3.
That one.
Yep. So that one puts you at 2. So we're 2-2 right now. And I get the cutthroats into the Sworn Brothers that had charged off of, or that had bounced off the cutthroats. The cutthroats that there's so many cutthroats in the list, it's just you keep saying it over and over again. So they failed by a pretty good margin. They were -3 to that check with the Vicious and the Corpse Pile and rolled a 5, so they failed by 4 total. So there's only 2 Sworn Brothers left in that unit. So the Cutthroats, it feels like they're a cheap unit, but they're still 6 points, so they're not punching. I guess these ones are only 5, so they're punching a little bit up their weight class, but you're at 6, so it's not terrible. They're doing all right, though. More Sworn Brothers coming into the Flayed Men, and I think I really whiffed this this set of defense saves. End up losing 5 guys looking at a 4+ save, which is not what I was expecting to get. And I just played the Tactics card that you remove from the deck that lets you pull one back. And somewhere I must have... I think I might have played it in the Sworn Brothers fight that we had at the top left screen, but I played the card that lets you block D3 hits automatically. But it didn't help them much. So I had pulled the card back anyways because I figure it's a good one to keep around. These Cutthroats just maneuvered forward. They were the ones that maybe should have gone into Ghost, maybe, but I think they were fine with what they did.
I don't remember what card I just played.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I was looking at getting another camera so I could set something up to where like we get the dice and the tactics board in like another picture on the screen or something, and instead I decided to pick up a bunch of terrain and another unit of Flayed Men.
Oh jeez.
Mostly because I thought I'm thinking that I have like 2 weeks for Adepticon to come up, so I was going to paint a Flayed Man for the crystal brush thing, but I realized that if I was going to play with a Flayed Man unit, that I was going to have a hard time actually, like, I don't know anyone else locally who has a unit, so I just ended up going and getting a second one so that if I decide to try and stress myself to paint to a decent level in 2 weeks, that I at least have the option.
What I'm hearing is justification for buying more Flayed Men.
I swear I probably won't buy anymore.
Don't go down that rabbit hole, Brian.
Parents, talk to your kids about buying more than one unit of Flayed Men.
It is important.
So we're going into turn 4 now, and I think the top of this one belongs to Tyler, or Tyler has the throne. So that last turn, Tyler ended up getting another 4 points, which shot him way up from having us tied to being 4 points ahead of me. I'm pretty close to losing the Flayed Man unit, and the rest of my guys don't have the greatest armor save, so I'm kind of in a pickle here. I pay like pretty good points for some nice combat tricks.
So my Ranger Hunters charge in.
Yeah, they ended up going forward and charging into the butt of the Bastards girls. They
play for the watch, add +1 to the attack.
Yep, so you're beating on dogs hard, and you hit really well. You don't even need the re-roll from the charges, so I don't think I pass a single save out of that. I might have passed one, but they do pass their morale test even though I don't have the money zone yet.
And they got this cool ability that lets them, after their melee attack, if they're still engaged, they get a free retreat action.
Yeah, they just get to yo-yo in and out of things. And since I'm already engaged with Ghost, it's not like I'm able to go chase them or anything like you would normally. So I think those guys, for being 8 points, it feels like they're too expensive. But I think they've got a lot of versatility in what they can do on the table. But
I'm very meh about them, but I'm inexperienced, so...
I think if you use them as a tag team piece, they're okay. But it's a 8-point unit that's going to get tag teamed. I guess with Ghost is fine, but they're also speed 6, which is something to definitely consider when you're judging the value of the unit.
I mean, I could for 6 points get another uh, Ranger tracker unit, and then have enough points for a
Yeah.
watch captain.
Yeah, there's that too. I mean, 8 points might be a little too much, but I don't know. I'd have to see more of them to really get a good judgment on them. So this is where you play your. Is it like not my watch doesn't end until my death or something like that?
Yep.
And they failed the morale test to be able to come back to full health. So the
Not full health, just one.
or
Wound.
just one wound or whatever. They do not survive. So the cutthroats get to maneuver up a little bit and just kind of sit and wait to try and get on those horses or the rangers. And I might be looking at some rules for something, but God, Clash of Kings is just so...
Oh yeah, you were looking up to see if the game will go beyond 10 points.
Yeah, I was checking because I felt like we were going to get there. Ghost is killing dogs.
It's a dog eat dog world.
I guess literally it is.
That's the only time I've ever said that.
So I unfortunately failed my morale check on the bastards. Or bastards girls. So I'm down to just Brawn in that unit. And I take the coin so that I can get the front rank back, I guess, just to put more wounds in the unit. And now I'm just like, that unit is clinging on for dear life. And Varys tries to stop the combat position, or the combat, the stupid swords or whatever. And that one I failed as well. So Varys is 0 for 2 right now. And I think you chose the Rangers to shoot into the bastards girls. And you flopped your roll pretty bad.
Pretty bad. Just a little bit.
I did make one save. No, you hit with 3 and I lost 3, so I didn't. But I did pass my morale test because with Brawn in that unit, they go from a 5 to a 3, so it's really hard to break them, even with that corpse pile there.
Are you going to buy him a castle when this is over?
I was actually thinking about trying to get a castle to put in the background for the game and just change the angle of the camera, but we have so little space when we're trying to film in my place, so the tripod kind of just, this is the only spot it can exist, so I'll have to mess around with some things. I've got all that booze making stuff shelf. I'd probably put that somewhere else for now.
So I'm not used to Ghost still being alive at this point. Usually he's gone in like 2 turns. So this is definitely a new experience for me.
Yeah. Well, my flayed men ended up dying from some sworn swords attacking him. So those guys get to maneuver up into a decent position. And then the other ones pivot, but they don't really have anywhere they need to go or anything. So now Braun himself, it comes down to this, where Braun's got to kill Ghost. And Braun only hits 2. I need Ghost.
And I fail 1.
Yep, so Ghost goes with the last wound off. So Braun butts up against the palisade and takes that objective. So even if Braun ends up dying this turn for whatever reason, he deserves a cookie or something. At least a castle, maybe, I guess. Maybe he can get the Dreadfort. So you've got, at the end of turn 3, you scored enough points to go up to 7. So, and I'm only sitting at 4, I think, from after killing Ghost. So I'm really like scrounging to try and get as many points as I can right now. I know I'll get more units next turn because I'll have a unit of cutthroats coming on and then the flayed men as well, because I don't think the flayed men actually got to activate. So I think they can come on this turn, and they probably do.
I think so, yeah. I know in my mind I see Braun, and for a while I'm contemplating how to get him off. And then I was looking at his morale, but it sucks. I mean, 3 Because the crown hasn't been taken, I don't think.
No, it hasn't. And I've got both my NCUs out, so it's really up to you whether you want the extra 2 tactics cards or want to try and take your chances on zapping Brawn. And now you're using your Rangers to shoot my Cutthroats. They passed a bunch of their saves at first, but with the vulnerable token, I was forced to re-roll them. Lost a bunch more, and then failed my morale test by 1 or 2. And then lost a couple more again, so those corpse piles aren't doing me a ton of favors, but it's not like I wouldn't be losing. You know, the difference between 1 or 2 guys is pretty negligible. The corpse piles should help me more than hurt me. So yeah, the Flayed Men didn't get to activate, so they get to still come on this turn, even though they died. So their activation, they're just kind of coming up the middle. The hope is to try and clear those Rangers off. Because I know I can't do much more this turn. I've only got 1 unit of Cutthroats left that haven't activated. And they don't even roll enough dice to try and kill the whole unit. Like, things would have to go horrible for them to wipe out a Sworn Brother unit. I think there we were just trying to negotiate whether they needed a 6 to get in or could get in at all, and they were in enough to where if they got a 6, they'd make it.
Yeah. So I took my chance.
And just came up 1 short.
Yep. Sad day. But I'm close to the corpse pile, so that affects me.
Yeah.
I'm just staring Braun right in the face. I'm so bad.
He's just staring down the barrel of, 11 Sworn Brothers. He's like, I got this. And then the other unit of Cutthroats that died last turn get to come on now, so they're short. I want to try and get the Rangers off of that objective. But Clash of Kings it's a tough scenario to work with when you're trying to grab those side objectives that have been taken, since your opponent, if they own that objective, they can deploy on the flank of that table. So it's really if you're trying to deploy to try and get the model that's on that objective off, your opponent kind of counter deploys another unit in order to stop you from getting that, or making it so it's not as easy for you to get that charge off or keep that unit around. It's just a tough scenario. I think that the neutral faction also is... I think that it's one of those factions where you need to really play it a lot in order to get how it's supposed to function. The tactics deck is pretty straightforward and is set up to... I'm sorry, I'll stop, but that was you putting Craster down on the crown to try and zap Brawn.
Yeah.
And I barely passed.
You got your 6.
Yep, I needed a 6 to make it, and got it. Cutthroats end up hitting 7 hits on that Sworn Brother unit.
And that was actually a really huge roll, because had you failed and lost Brawn, you probably would have had to take that unit to march onto that objective.
Yep, I wouldn't have been able to get
which meant less attacks on my Sworn Brothers.
Yep.
So
they end up getting 4 bodies out of you on that one. You were just outside, just barely outside of 6 on that corpse pile, so you didn't have the negative modifier there in order to jab another guy out, but losing a rank is losing a rank, I guess. It's worthwhile. And now you're deploying a unit that was killed last turn. And I think that's the same unit that came from that side anyways.
Yep.
So this is the kind of thing I'm talking about, where if your opponent owns the side objective and you try to put things in to try and take it, they're able to really secure that side of the table, or that objective at least, because they can deploy on the side of the table. So we're moving on to turn 5, and Tyler's zapped up to 8 points now, and I think I'm still only clipping at 5. So I really have to put in a lot of work to close the gap here. Like, I know that I need to do something in order to at least tie the game up, because it's going to be difficult for me to outscore you this turn. So I have to try and play to get at least tie you at the end of this round, so I can get it to go one more. And the first activation I use this turn is activating the Flayed Men to get the charge in on the Rangers. And I just needed a 2 and rolled a 2. Because if I did roll a 1, it would be disorderly, but at first I wouldn't be able to make it. They were just outside of that. So they end up cranking it with, what was that, 10 hits, 2 6s, and all the hit, everything hit, and then 2 6s, so 10 hits. And they're -1 since I'm on the side of you too, so like they're just not in a good spot.
Nope.
So they fail 8 saves and roll double 1s on their morale check, so that wipes the whole unit.
Very devastating.
Yeah, that was a really good deal. So I get to position on the center objective, and there's really not much to come and try and rip 12 wounds of Flayed Men off that table, so I'm pretty sure I've got that center one secured. But Tyler just goes like crazy on trying to get Braun here. I think you put the Sword in the Darkness on them or something.
Yeah, at this point in the game, all I have to do is kill Braun.
Yep, and then it's like you get your 10 points, but then it puts me in panic mode because I've got to try and catch up, which I'll go to 7. But with you having that objective, and Braun, there's no way he's going to survive that, so he goes down hard. Now you've got that objective, so you go to 9. Well, you go to 9 because you kill Braun. You're going to go to 10 if you stay on the objective. And so now I've got to try and score, what was it, 3 more points on top of this in order to catch up with you. And that includes me having to wipe out the Ranger unit that's over there, because I can't have you scoring that objective too, because if you do, the game becomes unwinnable or untiable. So with that, I start calculating out the what I need to get that unit of Cutthroats. I don't know why I keep forgetting the name Cutthroat, because it's like the only stupid unit in this list, other than Bastards, Girls, and Flayed Men. But I needed a 4 to make it. I rolled a 6, so I crushed the charge on it. And I try to position as much as I can to get out of the way of the Sworn Brothers coming in. And I hit 7 of my attacks. And they pass 3, fail 4, so it leaves I think it takes them down to 1 horse left. After we, like...
Yeah.
Because I think
and then we go to 1 horse.
Yeah, we were, like, getting confused with how many things were dying. And then they have a -3 to their panic test, so they rolled a 7, which brings it down to a 4. So they fail by 2, and that takes a horse out, but carries a wound over to the other one. Or no, it's 3 wounds total that he's got on him. It's a panic test that they've got, or panic token that they've got on them. That panic token, I think, came from the Flayed Men after they killed the Rangers. And that one, I rolled a 5 for a reason, and that reason was for Varys to stop Aemon from making a unit attack. So he fills up
And
another
you
horse.
succeed.
I do succeed that one, so now he's passed 1 out of his 3 that he's taken so far. Sworn Brothers are swinging, I think. Oh no, that I swung into the Sworn Brothers,
Morale, yeah.
and then they were taking morales on top of their saves. So not as like crushing of a blow as I wanted to deal up there, but you know, I I can't seem to get panic tokens to stick in this list right now. Like, I know Roos can he can give up the position or the tactics ability in order to put panic tokens out, but it seemed like while I was playing, I always needed an NCU to go down on those to do something with it. Like, they were all necessary abilities at the time, so I never really got the chance to apply those panic tokens that I wanted to. So I really didn't know what to do with this last unit here, so I decided to try and make them a roadblock for the other unit, and then I realized that the palisade is in their way, so it wasn't really necessary, but then I realized that the maneuver position was still open, so it was fine to put them there. But I just think I was, at this point, I was kind of running out of options, since I wasn't, I am not able to take the combat space on the tactics board, so I'm not able to try and kill those rangers, which I really need to have happen. So it looks like
I just charge in.
Yeah, you've got it. You just roll the disorderly on the Sworn Brothers into that unit. And they didn't do too well. And I fail 3. I think it was 4. Oh, it was 4 because I rolled a 5, and they save on 5s, but you're sundering, so. They passed their morale check, though. Or wait.
I think you failed.
No, they failed it.
Yeah, because you were by the corpse
Oh,
pile.
yeah, I rolled a 7, but the corpse pile made it a 6, so I failed by 1. So I think at this point we got to the end of the game, and you scored.
Yeah, so scoring that last point put me above the tieable state, so...
Yep, there's no... I didn't get enough to take those rangers off the table, and then when that other unit of cutthroats went down, they just... It made it so there was no way I could catch up, so giving that unit up was... It made it so there was no way I could tie, but I wasn't going to tie anyways. So...
Well, I can say one thing, though. Losing Jon Snow right away really hurt me.
Yeah.
I got so salty.
I know I was...
But your Flayed Men, definitely your VP for this game. I would say Ghost, just based on luck.
That was
mine.
There was like a pivotal point in the game where like things shifted way out of my control, and I think it was when the Bastards girls really flopped on that Ghost charge. They had thrown 10 dice, and it was all at minus 1 because I was in your side, and I just when you cracked that roll where you saved 5 hits when you were minus 1 against that, I think that point was where the game shifted really hard away from me, because I lost out on 2 points that time. So when you went up, you would have went up 1 less point that turn, so you would be at 5 and I would be at 4, so the pace of the game would be a little bit more stable to keep up with, but it just all kind of fell apart with that one activation.
I think had you gone after Ghost with that cutthroat charge,
yeah,
it would have got you 2 points ahead.
Well, and that's the problem to negotiate, though, is like if I would have used the cutthroats to go for Ghost, it meant that I would be giving you a side or rear charge on my Flayed Men. So
I'm okay with this. I
know that you're okay with it, but I think I was fine with Ghost getting out of getting out of an early engagement by getting my Flayed Men to be safe. But like I said, they just went into a unit and still killed what was it, like 9 of them, and they all came back but 1 at the end of that. So
yeah,
it was just tough. I think that the neutral tactics deck is really hard to work with sometimes. Like, it's a real hit or miss deck, and I was not aggressively discarding cards early because like the tactics deck all feels situationally useful but not situationally brilliant, you know. So like you almost have to just aggressively discard things that aren't going to be extremely pertinent with the situation you're given. Like I had 5 cards in my hand, and I held a bunch that, like, there were 2 of them that were reroll panic tests, which I did get to use, but not to much effect. And some of Bolton's cards came up, but the problem with my panic checks, or panic tokens, I mean, that I was putting out, I was killing the units that had the panic tokens on them. So I didn't really get much out of his cards either.
Yeah.
But this was a good game. Still don't like the scenario, but I hope to not play it often. But at least
it's a very odd feeling bringing units back into the game.
Yeah, you just kind of are constantly meat grinding them. So
I'm so used to once it's dead, it's dead.
Yep. But for a list like mine, where the units are really squishy, it's just, I don't know if I'm really getting a whole lot out of I don't know if the list needs to be optimized for this scenario. Like, you just need a list that can survive, so that but then the things that are survivable are usually slow. So I don't know, it's a funky one, but I hope you enjoyed it. If anyone's got any questions, you can leave them in the comments below. Let us know if we screwed anything up, because I think we got things down, especially the charging. Charging such a pain in the butt in this game, but otherwise we'll see you in the next one. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel and click the notification button to be updated automatically whenever I post new content. If you want to keep up with the rest of what we're doing, you can go over to the Big Top Gaming Facebook page and give us a like there, where we post painting updates, other hobby-related things, and some garbage memes here and there. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I look forward to making the next one for you.